Welcome everyone back to Pasadena, California. Moments before the opening kick between 4-0 UCLA and 3-1 Utah. So many storylines, Jessica, for Utah, especially on offense.
Yes, there are, Mark. In fact, we will see Utah's backup quarterback, Kendall Thompson, early in this first half. He spoke about the struggles of Wilson last week, and because that offensive coordinator told me just before the game he wants to mix things up. He knows that he can utilize Thompson's athleticism, his quickness, his ability to read zones better, plus he also knows he's got something to prove. Both those quarterbacks were very competitive coming into the first game.
All right, Jessica, and Wilson trying to forget about what happened against UCLA a season ago when he threw 6 interceptions. The Bruins won the toss, deferring to the second half. Utah will get a shot on offense to start this game, and this is one of the most dangerous return guys in all of college football. Kalen Clay, a senior, already with several punt and kickoff returns this season.
You must be sound in the kicking game or he will hurt you.
He's going to get a chance from the goal line. And he's bottled up back at the 13-yard line. So the Bruins not avoiding him. They kick off to him, and the tackle made by Cameron Judge on the play.
Jim Moore told us yesterday that he's going to kick to Kalen Clay, and that if he had tried not to, his team would have revolted. That they want the competition, they want the challenge, and they won it that time.
Yeah, he has a kickoff return for a touchdown and 3 punt returns for a touchdown this year. There's the stats of Travis Wilson. Been much better this year with 7 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and taking care of the ball. Devontae Booker in the backfield behind him, and now set beside him. Booker coming off a career week last week, albeit in that loss against Washington State. Gains 5 out to the 19-yard line. Moreau making the stop.
You mentioned the 6 picks he threw in last year's game. In 6, I had to do a double take when I saw that also. That was a 34-27 loss. He's a better quarterback than that, and he's from this area and wants to atone for it. He just can't put too much pressure on himself with the way things have been going lately.
2nd and 5. Wilson slings it incomplete. Intended for Kenneth Scott, who's been one of the more productive receivers this year, leading the team with 21 receptions. It'll be 3rd and 5.
That looked catchable. That looked like a well-thrown ball. We mentioned last week they had 6 drops in that game.
You know, at some point, Wilson, still asserting himself as a leader on this team, is going to have to really get into guys. It'll be interesting to see how he reacts. 3rd and 5. Bruins with heat. Wilson gets away miraculously and completes the pass at the 20-yard line, but it's shy of the first down. Scott squeezed it this time, but good pressure by Marcus Rios.
Well, he saved what should have been a sack because they didn't recognize the pressure, the blitz from the backside, but spun out of it and gets this back. So they pick up a little yardage. They'll have to kick. Had he not saved that play, they'd be punting from their own goal line.
And tonight, folks, we got a great treat in the punt return and kickoff return game. This is Ishmael Adams taking this kick from the rugby-style punter Tom Hackett of Utah. And it's going to take a Utes bounce all the way down to the 24-yard line. So Adams, who already has several touchdowns this year, actually 1 punt return and 2 on pick sixes, watches that one bounce harmlessly. Brent Hundley, the starting quarterback for UCLA, and he has been a beacon of leadership and proficiency this year for the Bruins. Look at those stats.
Not too shabby. And we mentioned the brace on the left arm. That's the hyperextended elbow suffered a couple of weeks ago.
1st and 10. And Paul Perkins met immediately. The 2nd down and about 9 to go. Johnny Paul in on the stop along with Jared Norris.
You know, Hundley is much better this year in the pocket, winning from the pocket, throwing from the pocket. That's the area the NFL scouts have been looking at for him.
Finds his receiver, but another tackle immediately. This time it's Nate Orchard coming up along with Tevin Carter from a safety spot.
Yeah, and the game plan for Utah is to try and make sure they handle things on first down. They don't want to give up the screen passes, the perimeter plays. They want to try and make UCLA play in a box. They don't want the fast break, the showtime thing going on.
Bruins put up 62 points last week at Arizona State. Looking at 3rd and 13 here. Perkins motions out of the backfield. Hundley going to be sacked back at the 14-yard line. That's the strength of the Utah defense, right, Rod?
Yeah, you said it, partner. Up front, you know, they are so good and deep. They will play 5 or 6 defensive tackles. They will rotate them in. Their ends come off the corner as well. You see the pressure from Dimmick, number 49 from the outside. UCLA, they believe they match up really well up front with UCLA.
Mengel punts it. Fair catch called at the 38-yard line, so the Bruins still have no net yards punt returned against them this year. That's right. Welcome back, everyone, to Pasadena. Utah with the football for the second time tonight. 1st and 10 from their own 37. Rod, let's take a look at the impact players.
Let's make it special teams, because you must be sound in the kicking game. And these two guys are 2 of the best in the country. 7 touchdowns between them. Kick away.
We'll see. Jim Morris says he won't. Sometimes you end up changing. On the reverse. This is Kalen Clay. Gain of about 1 on the play.
Now I expect to see a fair amount of reverses, play action passes, things like that from Utah because of the speed of the UCLA linebackers. Kyle Whittingham, their head coach, is aware of that. He says those guys are athletic and fast. We just can't run to the sideline because they'll outrun us there.
2nd and 9. Trez Anderson didn't have a reception last week. They go onto the backfield to Devontae Booker, who picks up a couple of yards. Anthony Jefferson makes the stop on the play. 3rd down coming up.
Well, and this is the dangerous territory for Utah. Wilson has struggled. The passing attack has struggled. We already saw a drop pass today. A 3rd and long situation. Stay away from Adams. He took one to the house last week against Arizona State.
Third down and 7. Wilson gets rid of it quickly. Incomplete over the middle. Intended for Wesley Tonga. And it's 4th down and 7. And that's the 2nd consecutive 3 and out for Utah. Rod, I want to ask you, how surprised are you that early in the game the Utes haven't tried to establish Trez Anderson, who is the leading returning receiver in the conference this year?
Yeah, it's a little surprising, but you know, they've only had 6 plays essentially.
Let's look at Hackett, the Australian rules kicker, erstwhile Australian rules kicker. That rugby style kick, and an effective one. Very effective. Adams won't get an opportunity to return it, and it's out of bounds inside the 10 at about the 8-yard line. He watched a movie on the news about American football. That's how we got here.
Are you kidding me?
I'll tell you more later.
Wow.
ESPN College Football Finale is brought to you by Jockey. Quality crafted to last longer, guaranteed. Jockey, supporting greatness. And Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
And welcome back, everyone, to the lights of Pasadena and the Rose Bowl. UCLA with the football for the 2nd time tonight. They had a 3 and out on the first possession. Quarterback Brett Hundley decided to come back, said he didn't do enough yet at UCLA, Rod, but he's taken some hits in his time here.
You know, he's been hit more than any other quarterback in college football in the last 3 years. He's been sacked 99 times in his career. He's been knocked down 150 times in his career.
We're going to try and keep him upright tonight. No such threat as the handoff goes to Paul Perkins. Gains about 5 yards on the play. So how does UCLA's offensive line and their offense en masse figure into keeping him upright?
Yeah, well they've got to protect him and get the ball out faster. Part of that's on him. Part of that's on the guys up front. He sometimes hangs on to the ball, or he is a one-look take off and run guy.
Hands it off again to Perkins. Perkins with nowhere to go. But Coach Morrow telling us that his quarterback Huntley spent a little time with a bunch of NFL guys this past summer, including the Manning brothers and Tim Tebow.
Yeah, the Tebow thing was interesting. I guess he was, as I understand it, was helping him with some leadership issues, helping him figure out how to lead this UCLA team.
Phillip Rivers as well down in San Diego. 3rd and 5 for Huntley. Completes the pass to his big receiver Eldridge Massington, who had an 80-yard touchdown catch and run last week against Arizona State. Flag down, though.
So who pushes off here? Who's the guy pushing off? That looked like it was actually Massington who was pushing off.
Gain of 14 if it stands.
Yeah, that's Hatfield.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference. The result of the play is a first down.
Guess they picked it up.
Yeah, they picked it up, and you know that's fine. Maybe don't throw it in the first place, because if you're thinking, hey, both guys are using their hands and it's a no call, that's fine. It's a no call.
First down and 10. UCLA's first down of the night. Perkins again escapes one tackler, puts his hat down, and looks like we might have a face mask coming up on the play against Gianni Paul, number 13. 9-yard gain on the play.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 15. A 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play with an automatic first down.
Well, he not only gets a hold of it, he turns it.
You know what, there was what looked like a missed face mask call in that Ole Miss Alabama game earlier today. On the fly sweep, Ishmael Adams playing a little offense today as Jim Morrow opens up his playbook a little bit, Rob.
Yeah, that's the first time they've used him on offense this season, getting him involved. More athleticism, more speed, getting him a touch other than simply in the special teams game. Where you got a guy who can take it to the house, you find a way to have him touch the ball.
2nd down and 8. To Jordan Payton out on the edge. And Payton stopped up after a gain of about 2. Let's take a look now at how UCLA is planning for success, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Yeah, Huntley has the ability to be a Heisman candidate. A backup performance tonight to last week will be great. Special teams, be special, take care of business there, and attack the perimeter. We've seen that already. We just saw Adams on the fly sweep. Screen game outside. Attack the perimeter, use your speed.
3rd and 5 for the Bruins. Huntley surveys down the seam and incomplete. A jarring hit by Brian Blecken on Devin Fuller, and he couldn't squeeze it. 4th down coming up.
Yeah, it looked like a clean hit from up here. Led with the shoulder and got him around the ribs. That's a good, clean tackle.
Right in the strike zone. Taylor Clay now back for this punt, standing on his 10-yard line. Matt Mengel punting from his 42. And Clay will watch it bounce over his head. The Bruins with a chance to down it inside the 5. And they're going to spot it at about the 7-yard line. Great hustle on special teams. You have a feeling that'll be a big variable in the success of one of these teams tonight. On ESPN at 10 a.m. it's Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by Snickers. Host Chris Berman and the crew giving you all the news and updates right up to kickoff, and catch our experts as they provide the latest news and predict the top fantasy performers on Fantasy Football Now, presented by Papa John's at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. Utah with possession as they start at their own 8-yard line.
Can they do what so many other teams have done this weekend?
1st and 10. Wilson in trouble. Boy, he actually gains about a yard on the play. Out of the maze of blue jerseys, he gained a yard. But Rod, getting back to what you were alluding to, what a zany day it's been in college football with 4 of the top 6 teams in the AP poll losing.
Yeah, it all started Thursday night when Arizona took down Oregon, and you just had the feeling that this was going to be one of those weekends. And man, if you're trying to do a Final Four based on this weekend, good luck.
I can't wait to see your college football playoff projection now.
I think everybody is struggling after today.
2nd and 9. Wilson on the move and incomplete.
Got to have that.
Intended for number 8, Kalen Clay.
That's the 2nd drop tonight. Now, the passing game is totally out of sync. We've seen 2 drops. We've seen Wilson harassed in the pocket, and we've seen him kind of look for the pressure. That last time he was sacked, you know, he kind of looked around, dropped his eyes down. He's got to find his confidence, and they got to help him out.
Yeah.
Got to make a catch.
He's 2 of 5 for 5 yards so far, but this looking like a remix of last week where he had 6 drops by his receivers. He has yet to target Drez Anderson. And Utah going to call a timeout.
Timeout.
On 3rd down
Utah,
and 9.
the first of the half. It will be 30 seconds in length.
We'll be back right after this. Third and long.
I wouldn't have the confidence to throw it down here.
Well, you guessed right. They hand it off, but nowhere to go for Devontae Booker. Tough sledding at the 10-yard line, and they'll have to punt.
Well, when you can't protect the quarterback and you can't catch it down the field, why are you going to throw when you're backed up on your own goal line?
That's a 3rd consecutive 3-and-out for the Utes offensively to start this game, and now that's going to flip the field in favor of the Bruins. Ishmael Adams probably going to get a chance to get his hands on this one unless Tom Hackett, the Australian punter, gets a chance.
This is the guy who found out about American football on a plane watching a movie?
He watched a news feature in Australia on American football and got to an American Football Academy down under. Learned how to punt and once again has stuck one all the way down to the 30-yard line. Maybe more punters need to go to that football academy there. 59 yards in all.
Well, he's pretty sound in the kicking game. He's taken Adams out of the punt return game so far.
UCLA going to start at their own 31. Both teams unable to get any kind of offense going here. Hundley sacked back at the 25. That's the 2nd sack of the night for the Utes defensively.
Well, that was a great job of collapsing the pocket. They didn't give him anywhere to go. Hundley likes to take off and run, but they collapsed it around him. He had no lanes, nowhere to go. That is sack number 100.
Wow.
I mean, if you told me there was a quarterback in the country that was hit sacked that often, he would not have been the one that I would have guessed.
Sets up a 2nd and 16. They set up the screen, and he's picked off. Pick 6, touchdown Carter. Folks have made the trip from Salt Lake City in and around parts of Utah. And on this zany Saturday, this wonderfully unpredictable Saturday in college football, the Utes with the lead.
Yeah, he just doesn't realize this. He overthrows this screen. He's got a corner out there. I'm sorry, the safety Carter, who's back after missing last week. And he just took that room service deal straight to the house.
And a monster game against Michigan a couple of weeks ago, and it's 7-0 now on his 2nd interception of the season. The Utes stunning the crowd at the Rose Bowl when we come back. Well, Carter, a key piece of that defense in the secondary for the Utes with a pick 6 touchdown. And Utah with the lead. Now, both the last 2 games against UCLA have come down to the wire, especially last year. The margin of victory 7 points in each of the last 2 games. see if they kick it to Adams on this kick return or not. They go for the onside kick, and Utah has recovered. Andy Phillips recovered the kick, and the Bruins still stunned.
Wow. Oh, they caught him completely off guard, and the man who kicked it actually recovered it. That's Andy Phillips.
10 yards. Therefore, it's a first down, Utah.
Has to go 10 yards. He waited for it and came up with it.
So Kyle Whittingham with the first strategical tactical salvo of the game as Kendall Thompson comes in at quarterback now for the Utes. What do you make of this move?
Well, you know, there were 3 series they did nothing, and bringing him in makes sense. You want to get him in early. Now, he's more athletic than Wilson, so you'll get more quarterback runs. You'll get the zone read. You'll get the quarterback draw, and that may be some way to jumpstart this offense.
Well, that last kickoff is under review, maybe to see if it went 10 yards or not.
Well, the 45-yard line is the magical place. Now, from that angle, it looks like it went beyond the 45, but his back was to us. When does he first put his hands on it? I can't tell from that angle either. Remember, you have to have conclusive evidence to overturn it, and it looks like he does not gain possession until after the 45. Where does he first touch it? Where does he first touch it? I can't tell from the backside if he touched it before the 10 yards.
You'd have to say from those angles it's inconclusive, although Coach Morris seems to think it's going to go the Bruins' way.
Well, remember, you can't substitute your judgment. You actually have to have video evidence of where he touched it. And I don't see it from that backside. I'm guessing he might have touched it, but I don't see it.
Now, is that a call from the sideline on the onside kick, or is that an audible by the kicker? Or how do those usually work if you had to guess?
They plan that one all week. If they get the right situation and they see it, they'll go with it.
Still having to look at it upstairs with the replay officials. Looks like we have a decision.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Utah.
Yeah, and that's the right call. We can assume that he might have touched it, but we don't have any video evidence of that. And that's why it's the right call. That's why they said the play stands as opposed to they confirm it.
Great call and play by Andy Phillips. 1st and 10. New quarterback in, Kendall Thompson, the Oklahoma transfer, who hands it off. And it wasn't the smoothest mesh point at the handoff. Odigizua making the stop on the play. A loss of 2.
Well, not just Odigizua. There was also Miles Jack in there, the fantastic sophomore linebacker, taking away the outside, which allowed Odigizua to make the play. You got to handle the linebackers when you play UCLA. And Kendall Thompson, now what do? You've got a tough situation. I think you got to let him run the ball some. Let Kendall Thompson run it.
Thompson, a guy that came in the Michigan game and had some success. He hands it off. And across midfield, it's Devontae Booker for a gain of 7 on the play. Sets up a 3rd down for the Utes. But Kendall Thompson, a highly touted quarterback coming out of high school, transferred from Oklahoma, and is getting his chance here tonight. Jessica Mendoza reported earlier this evening that he deserved the opportunity to compete. Thompson with nowhere to go. He's going to be sacked.
Yeah, UCLA brought the pressure. They were not buying the notion that there might be a pass.
Odigizua again, a loss of 2.
Yeah, you see the pressure coming in also by Eric Kendricks, number 6. He was on a blitz. Not a surprise at all. They did not buy the notion that Thompson was going to throw in his first series.
Fourth down and 7. Here comes Tom Hackett again. Amongst the top punters in the nation. leads the Pac-12 in punting average, and this one travels down to the 12-yard line. No chance for Adams to return it with 3:53 to go on the 39-yard punt. Only going to try and recalibrate himself and regain his poise. Poise has been one of his strengths.
Yeah, well, that pick six was not all on him. It's pretty good defensive play by Utah.
Working out of the shotgun. Hunley hands it off to Paul Perkins, the 5'11" sophomore, at 137 yards rushing against Arizona State in their last game, and now has had back-to-back 100-plus yard rushing games. Second down and 7. Hunley finds his man down the sidelines. That's Jordan Payton for the first down. Put it right where it had to be, Rod.
What a throw, what a catch. When there's trouble, Payton is the guy he wants, and he put that ball in the perfect spot. Watch Payton perfectly in stride, gets to the edge, and looks for the ball. Right there in between the safety and the corner. Great, great NFL throw.
Meanwhile, Carter, who had that pick six a little bit earlier tonight, a little shaken up on the play. And we want to welcome those who are just tuning into this game between Utah and UCLA on this very unpredictable Saturday in college football, where 4 of the top 6 teams in the AP poll have lost.
Well, take a look at what happens here. You actually have the safety, Carter, out there, and the running back, who was situated in the backfield trying to get out for a screen, actually gets held up. And so that ball was well overthrown, but only because the back essentially got tackled.
First down and 10 as Carter's going to sit this play out and hand it off into the boundary. That's Jordan James getting his first touch of the ball game. Gains about 5 on the play, and Arizona State, folks, has defeated USC on a last-second Hail Mary.
Are you kidding me?
And things got even crazier, Rod Gilmore.
Oh, no. And didn't they won on a Hail Mary essentially last week?
And Hunley taking his 101st career sack as we go back to Reese Davis in the studio. Reese?
Mark, Rod as an old defensive back is absolutely going to hate the way SC played this. Mike Bercovici down 2, firing it. There are a lot of Trojans there. And Jalen Strong stepped in front of all of them and scored. He had over 200 yards receiving, and the Sun Devils do it 38-34.
Wow, Reese.
I'm sick.
I know what Rod's going to say. He's going to say, you got to rush 4 and not 3. That pass incomplete. But we saw USC be the beneficiaries of a Hail Mary last week.
Right before halftime, and it changed that game. But, you know, there are 2 things you have to do. You got to rush 4 guys to put pressure on the quarterback so he doesn't have all day, and then you have to knock it down. Find the ball, knock it down. You don't need a pick, just knock it down.
We saw the Cardinal rush just 3 tonight, too.
Don't get me started.
Kalen Clay back for this punt and watches it bounce harmlessly inside the 15 to the 13-yard line as the Utes will take over after the 47-yard punt. Why do defensive coordinators continue to just do that? Rush 3, not more.
Well, I think it's safety and knowing that, hey, I had 8 guys back there defending, but you can't give good quarterbacks that much time to survey the field. And Reese and Mark and Lou know this. They've heard me complain about it. I think they all agree with me. We've talked about it for years. You just can't let a quarterback sit back there and figure out, where am I going to go with this?
Well, the quarterback story developing here is that Travis Wilson is on the sidelines for the 2nd series in a row, and Kendall Thompson is getting an opportunity here.
Well, until he convinces them that he can throw the ball, they're not going to respect it.
Looking to pass it here. Thompson tucks it under and picks up a first down for the Utes as we go downstairs to Jessica Mendoza.
Well, Mark, in addition to putting in Thompson, Utah wanted to change up their offense by slowing it down. That's according to offensive coordinator Christensen. He's told me that they really want to slow the ball down, especially until they get to first down. That's why they're going to use the huddle.
Well, they got a first down on the last run. This time, though, Thompson brought down for a gain of about 3.
Well, and Jessica's right. You know, they had that problem against Washington State. They jumped out to a 21-point lead, but they were a fast-paced offense. They did not shorten the game, and their defense got tired. Got a lot of criticism about that, and they're trying to change that this week.
2nd down and 7. Backside pressure coming. Thompson completing the pass to Kalen Clay. And Clay pushed out of bounds right near that 1st down marker. Let me ask you this, Rod. You take Wilson out. You put Thompson in. Do you risk losing Wilson mentally at this point?
Well, there's a risk of that, but you hope that his teammates on the sideline are with him and backing him up and saying, hey, and he's buying in. It's all about team.
3rd and 1. They run it for the 1st down. Devontae Booker, the 5'11" junior from Sacramento, the 2nd consecutive 1st down for the Utes.
And I'd like to see Utah get into that huddle, but they're going hurry up right now. They're back to the line of scrimmage.
Under a minute to go here in the 1st quarter. Booker broke a tackle and finally brought down, but a nice gain again of 7.
Now, I think UCLA is going to change their defense. They're playing with 2 high safeties right now, but there is no threat of a pass. Until Thompson proves that he can throw the football, I think I play a single high. I pressure the receivers. You know, don't give them those intermediate or short passes, and I dare him to throw.
One of the many potential adjustments to be made here. This game in the 1st quarter. 2nd down and 4, and time winding down in the 1st period. Travis Wilson, who would have thought that we'd see him watching a couple series in a row? He's taken some hits this season and previously.
Not as many as Hundley has.
No,
he's already been sacked 3 times.
Yeah, Mom, don't let your sons grow up to be quarterbacks. Well, the trend continues on this wacky Saturday. Kyle Whittingham's team leading 7-0 when we come back, looking for the upset.
A journey to the next great championship in sports. ESPN, home of the new college football playoff. New Year's will never be the same.
Well, a lot of those top 4 teams in the projection so far are going to be jumbled and changed by the end of the night. Utah 1st and 10. Booker gains about 3 on the play.
You know, the TCU win over Oklahoma didn't shock me so much. I saw that as an upset alert. But
what was the biggest upset of the day?
To me, Ole Miss over Alabama.
3rd and 1 coming up for the Utes. Booker with the 1st down and then some, down to the 42.
Well, right now, Utah is winning the line of scrimmage on offense and defense. They've been able to make this an inside-the-box game by running right at UCLA, but they're not that explosive offensively.
Gain of 9 on the last play. A little counter here. Booker brought down right near the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing is what we talked about. If you're UCLA, you're not worried about the pass right now. Until they prove it, you can bring an 8th guy into the box. You can bring a safety down. You can clog up the lanes and dare them to throw.
Kendall Thompson completing 53% of his passes on the season coming in. Play fake, and he's it downfield. Up for grabs. Touchdown, Drez Anderson in a crowd.
Dare answered. The dare was answered. Now, this is Anderson, who has not been productive lately because a couple drops and they couldn't get the ball to him, but Thompson puts it out there and he goes up just like his father back in the day and brings this one down. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, his father, Flipper Anderson, erstwhile of the LA Rams back in the day, and UCLA Bruins prior to that collegiately, and Utah stunning the Bruins here. 13-0 with the extra point to come here. Anderson with his 5th touchdown catch of the season.
Wow.
And as a precursor to that catch, you know, Dad in the crowd here somewhere said that, you know, UCLA has a chance to make it to the playoffs And I feel badly that my son is about to wreck it for them. That was a quote, folks.
Yeah, well, quote, he answered, his son is doing all he can because double coverage, highest point, dared them to throw it. Yeah, he brought it home. Utah trying to continue today's stunning upsets.
The Utes are stunning the Bruins right now, 14-0 on a pick six and a long pass catch by Drez Anderson. Howie Johnson on the kickoff return, as Kendall Thompson engineered that last drive, and that video of the scoring catch by Drez Anderson now available on the SportsCenter app. Well, Monday night, Russell Wilson and the dominant Seattle Seahawks offense on the road in an NFC matchup against Kirk Cousins and Washington. Monday Night Football, 8:15 p.m. on ESPN and Watch ESPN.
You know, I got to watch my boys Richard Sherman and Doug Baldwin.
UCLA trying to recover here. Paul Perkins plowing ahead for about 3 yards on the play, make it 4. What does UCLA have to do here, Rod, to get some semblance of continuity?
Well, they're not winning up front, particularly inside. You know, that's the problem, and they've already had 3 sacks on Hundley.
2nd and 6. Hundley throws a dart complete. Maybe that'll get him going a little bit for the first down. Jordan Payton with a pickup of 7 on the play.
UCLA's not a great rushing team. Most of their rushing really revolves around Hundley, but Payton is the guy that really can make the offense go in the pass game.
They run the ball this time with Paul Perkins, and Perkins with a nice game. Yeah, back to Hundley, and he's one of the leading rushers on this team, Rod.
Yeah, you know, he runs so well, but, you know, with that elbow, they've kind of shied away from running him with the quarterback design runs lately.
2nd down. Perkins picks up the first down. Gain of about 8. It looks like Utah has UCLA's attention here. By the way, the Bruins are starting to get in rhythm offensively. 1st down and 10. Trips formation. Hundley didn't look like he was ready for the snap. Almost catching him by surprise, but a 4-yard gain again by Perkins.
Well, they can lull you to sleep, and Hundley can get hot in a hurry. A couple of dive plays inside, and he'll pull it back out and then take a shot down the field.
2nd down and 6. Taking off out of the pocket. Hundley tiptoes out of bounds right around the 45-yard line.
He's got such a strong lower body. Would-be tacklers bounce off of him. He has a fairly quick first step when he chooses to get out of the pocket. But that's a lot of their rushing attack.
8-yard gain on the play and enough for the first down at the 45. Pass complete. Out of the backfield, that's Iese. And Iese picks up about 6 or 7. Second and 2. Perkins again. Another first down, chewing up good yardage inside the 30 to the 26. Gain of 11.
Good job on that left side. Kenny Lacy, the right guard, has flipped over from the right to the left side, doing a nice job in there for Alex Redmond, who's out today.
Perkins again. Untouched so far. 1st and goal, Bruins.
Yeah, they're working on that left side over there, and they're really getting a good job up front. It's over here. Watch a good job you get from Lacy. Just drives his man outside. Big hole. They're doing a nice job up front with their guards and centers getting on those linebackers.
21-yard pickup, 1st and goal, Bruins. Perkins. Touchdown.
Not so much Hundley that drive as it was that UCLA offensive line taking back control of the line of scrimmage. Good job by Perkins finishing off the drive.
That's his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season and the 9th of his career. And Bruins back to within 7 points of Utah. That offensive line has been much maligned and questioned this year, but doing a nice job on that drive when we come back.
ESPN College Football Finale is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual, proud to be an official corporate partner of the NCAA, and the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill.
And welcome back, everyone, to one of the more venerated buildings here. And there's a look at the south end zone where they recently did some renovations, actually on the entire building, but they found something interesting. Folks, this is news. After recent renovations here at the Rose Bowl, the original staircases underneath the south end zone were uncovered dating back to, get this, the 1930s.
Wow.
So they left them intact.
So
that's kind of a historical memorial.
So people were walking on that stuff back in the 32 Olympics.
Yes. Wow. People walk on top of it to their seats. But so much history in this building. Of course, the Rose and the Sugar Bowl is going to play a big part in the college football playoff this year, Rod.
You know what? After today, I've learned one thing. We do not have a dominant team out there.
Yeah.
Not one. Not a dominant team.
I want to see who's in your top 4 now. Because
so do I.
First down and 10 for Utah. Kendall Thompson in at quarterback. He came in after the first 2 series, and they handed off to Booker straight ahead. A gain of 6 yards on the play.
And this is kind of the way they started out their last drive. They started taking control inside, running the ball behind their center, Ianu, and their left guard and right guard. And then they pulled it out and took a long shot down the field to Drez Anderson.
Drez Anderson had been very quiet up until that one catch. His one and only catch so far tonight. They put it into the hands of Clay, the big playmaker, but this time brought down after a gain of 3 on the play. Good tackle by Miles Jack, a two-way star for UCLA.
I think Thompson is going to be the quarterback the rest of the night.
What makes you say that?
Well, maybe that long touchdown pass and the fact that he's got some ability, a little spark the offense hasn't had in a couple of weeks.
The Oklahoma transfer at the trigger. Keeps it himself, has the first down, and then some. Thompson across the 40 to the 42-yard line, picks up 8.
Mobility. That's the dimension he brings that Travis Wilson does not have. He has the ability to run the quarterback design plays, and it adds something to this offense they haven't had all season.
It seems like, in retrospect now, and it's a short rear-view mirror that we're working with, but Wilson was working on a short rope. 1st and 10. Thompson completes it. Out of the backfield, Devontae Booker going to be left about 4 yards short of the first down.
And those short passes are now available because of the long touchdown pass to Anderson. He proved he can throw the ball deep, and now they're backing off. Those short passes are there.
Thompson looking to pass. Falls forward and actually gained a yard on the play. Odighizuwa with the tackle.
Yeah, Thompson actually has something here, but patience. He doesn't have the patience. Once he slips, if he'd waited just a beat and thrown that ball, he actually had something. He just needed to take the hit.
3rd and 4. They're going to call a timeout. UCLA calls timeout.
Timeout. UCLA.
Now each team with 2 remaining. A frustrated look etched across the face of head coach Jim Mora. Back after this. take a look at this week's rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A. And Rod, you look at 4 of the 6 top teams, and the AP poll took L's today. And let me ask you, which one was the most shocking?
Well, for me, it was Alabama going down, and you?
I'm going to say Oregon. Coming off the week off, had time to prepare.
Even after the way they played poorly the week before that?
3rd down and 4 coming up for the Utes. Booker gets the call, but nowhere to go. He's going to be stopped up after a gain of 1 on the play. Right near midfield. 4th down coming up.
Well, this is an important special teams play for Utah because they want to flip the field position and back UCLA up. And we talked about how important the kicking game is tonight because of the special return guys we have.
Tom Hackett is the son of an Aussie rules football player. And he's doing a great job punting the football tonight for the Utes. Rolls out. Ishmael Adams watches it bounce out of bounds, and another great job by Tom Hackett at the 5-yard line. A 45-yard punt, nothing on the return.
Yeah, we got 2 of the best involved tonight, and these kickers are giving them nothing. Nada. There's Adams. You see him running from one side to the other inside the 10-yard line. He's got a fair catch it. There's nothing for him to do with the ball. This is one of the most exciting games, exciting guys in the game of college football, and there's nothing for him to return.
I mean, by definition, Rod, is that what you call directional kicking?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're directing Adams to the bench.
No shot at returning those coming off the sidelines. Perkins straight ahead to the 12-yard line for the Bruins, who on the last scoring drive made it look relatively easy at times running the football. Perkins again between the tackles. This time will gain about 2. Perkins on the carry.
We have a Lotulelei sighting out there. Lowell, younger brother of Starr, who was a great Utah defensive lineman, is in the rotation of defensive tackles for Utah.
Number 93 up front. Peacock defensively for the Utes. He gets rid of it in time. Jordan Payton with the catch for the 1st down for the Bruins. Well, a great possession there and a good catch, but just don't call Payton a possession receiver. He doesn't like that.
Yeah, he would go after you. If he heard you say that, call him a possession guy. He does not like that. He says he's faster than people give him credit for being.
He's headed to Washington, actually, before Jim Mora took over as head coach here at UCLA 3 years ago. And nowhere to go that time on the play. That was Paul Perkins right into the backside of his offensive lineman.
Yeah, and that was Lowell Lotulelei inside there. You know, he's only a freshman, 6'1", 310 pounds, much like his older brother. He's quick inside and big.
Boy, a freshman at 310.
I know.
2nd and 10. Hundley sings it complete. Lucien on his feet still and all the way out to the 40-yard line.
But the key there was the protection for Hundley. He's been sacked 3 times tonight, harassed a little bit, but this time they kept the pocket clean. Plenty of time, got rid of it quickly.
Boy, Hundley has an array of receivers that he can throw the football to. Fumbles the snap, and he falls on it, but it's going to be a loss. About 4 on the play. Like Hundley took his eye off it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that was a good snap. You're absolutely right. He just took his eyes off of it and dropped it.
A man that remains real humble and diligent, in the words of his head coach Jim Mora. And a chance to make a little bit of a statement here tonight in terms of his Heisman candidacy. This time sacked. The 3rd sack of the night, this one by Nate Orchard. Actually, it's the 4th sack.
Yeah, and Dimick actually created the play. He came from the outside, number 49, left of your screen. He puts the pressure on, which forces Hundley to step into the sack by Orchard. And what's that, 102 now in his career?
And the meter's still running.
Wow.
3rd and long, 15 to go. Blitz coming. Huntley sacked again, and a flag down on the play too. Justin Thomas was the first one to get there.
Wow. This is somewhat reminiscent.
Holding. Offense number 74. Penalties decline. 4th down.
For a guy that's taken so many sacks, Rod, as we take a look at this one.
Yeah, this is reminiscent of the way that Washington State went after Oregon, and we saw the problems that Oregon had the following week against Arizona. I mean, this is the 4th sack, more pressure on Hundley.
Clay standing his own 30-yard line, waiting for this punt. And neither punt return specialist able to get much of an opportunity tonight. This one rolls down harmlessly at the 20-yard line. Under 4 minutes to go here in the first half from Pasadena. 14-7 Utes with the lead. What if I told you their jerseys said Boston College, but they were playing for somebody else? In the late 70s, a small group of BC ballers got mixed up with the real Goodfellas and started shaving points. What if I told you that once the fix is in, it can't be fixed? ESPN Films 30 for 30 presents Playing for the Mob, brought to you by Infinity, Tuesday at 9 p.m. on ESPN, and watch ESPN.
Is that your dramatic mob reading?
Like the guy in the 30 for 30s. Flag down on the play, and we're going to have an offside call against the Bruins.
Offside. Defense number 58. 5-yard penalty. Replay. 1st down.
What if I
Deion
told
Hollins.
you one of the top 3 quarterbacks in college football has been sacked over 100 times in his career?
What if I asked you, why would you come back and risk millions potentially in the NFL to face that kind of heat?
Probably didn't get the draft grade you like, but not a 1st-round grade.
Talking about Hundley, of course, of UCLA. 1st down and 5 now. Nice move by Thompson. Stopped up after a gain of 2. Miles Jack making the tackle on the play.
Miles Jack, outstanding sophomore linebacker. Was a 2-way player last year. Has 10 carries on offense this year, but you can see that quickness and lateral movement, open field tackle.
Saw him shake his head after making the stop on Thompson. No unsportsmanlike flag there. Been some impactful calls.
Yeah.
Some erroneous, perhaps. 2nd and 3. This is where Thompson can hurt the defense. Scrambles, and it looks like he got enough for the 1st down.
You've been steaming since Thursday night about that Oregon game and the celebration flags.
Yeah, it just seems
you want to change this now, right?
It just seems like they're trying to legislate some very abstract things about what unsportsmanlike conduct is or isn't.
Yeah, well, Jim Mora, I think, agreed with you. He didn't want to go that far, but it sounded like he felt that way.
1st down and 10. Pass is complete to Booker out of the backfield. They're going to give him the reception a yard short of the 1st down. Yeah, Jim Mora spoke with his team at length this week about how to conduct themselves on the field to avoid such penalties.
He's doing what every coach does. He tells them, it's the rules, guys. You know, don't let it cost us like it cost Oregon.
Booker getting the handoff this time and gets the 1st down out to the 48.
But we should point out that both Arizona and Oregon both had costly celebration penalties that ended up in touchdown drives.
I get the feeling at some point maybe the original spirit of the rule may have swung too far the other way. Thompson nowhere to go in the pocket and sacked for a loss of 3. Digizua there to make the tackle.
Yeah, eyes not down the field too long there. He had one guy went to and came right back, and now he's trying to get away from the rush. Got to keep your eyes down the field, get rid of the football. You can't get sacked this often.
Both quarterbacks taking hits tonight. Booker motoring through the hole down to the 45. Picked up 8, which sets up a short 3rd down now.
And the right guard, Isaac Asiata, having a having a good night, running behind him.
If you're just joining us, Travis Wilson took the first 2 series at quarterback for Utah. Since then, it's been all Kendall Thompson. Booker picks up the first down. They're inside field goal range right now for Andy Phillips on the gain of 9. Looked like there might have been a little face mask too that wasn't called.
Well, they've got their timeouts. They're not a great intermediate passing attack, but they've got their timeouts. They can bleed this a bit.
Booker again. And any way you slice it from here on in, if you're Utah and Kyle Whittingham, you're thinking we're in pretty good shape going into the locker room.
Absolutely. Right? And you can live with a field goal attempt here. Their field goal kicker was looking pretty good in warm-ups, and this is within his range, about the edge of his range. This would be about a 52-yarder from here. He'd like to move it in closer.
Look at the numbers on Phillips. 7 of 9 and 4 for 5 against Michigan in that big win in Ann Arbor. A career long of 51. Thompson, meanwhile, 5 for 5 for 65 yards passing in the ball game.
Well, and with a young quarterback, I don't think you want to take chances, too many chances, and lose the scoring opportunity. If you're going to throw here, it's got to be a safe throw. A safe throw can be a short one outside, and a deep throw towards the sideline is a safe throw. But you don't want to throw over the middle. That's where all those linebackers and safeties are lurking, and you might not see them.
2nd down and 8. There's the two-way star, Miles Jack. And you look into the eyes of the quarterback, Kendall Thompson. Is this Dres Anderson time? He caught the last touchdown pass. Well, they might have been sitting on it that time. Anderson made the catch, Rod, but had a bunch of guys waiting on him.
Yeah, Fabian Moreau was sitting right on top of Anderson. He's right there. So now you've got one more play you can run in a timeout, and you've lost a couple yards there. This is a little bit longer. You need about 5 yards now.
A loss of 4 on the last play. 3rd and 12. Thompson getting to the edge, completes the pass. That was Kalen Clay with the reception at about the 31, a 7-yard gain. And Kyle Whittingham sends in his field goal unit led by Andy Phillips.
Yeah, this is going to be about a 48-yarder, 49-yarder, and that's within his range. So that was a very important throw and catch. It got them within, I think, his comfort range now.
Kendall Thompson has given a little bit of a spark to this Utah team that was anemic offensively last week in that loss at home against Washington State. This field goal attempt coming from 48 yards out. Phillips hits it strong and good. Andy Phillips giving Utah a 10-point advantage with 2 seconds to play in the first half. Well, Rod, do you think they've answered the questions about whether they were over any kind of hangover in that last-second loss last week?
Absolutely, and I think the other thing is it's Utah's kind of game. We talked at the top about a physical kind of in-the-box game, and it's being won up front right now by their defensive line with all the sacks and their offensive line with the ability to run the ball inside with the running quarterback.
Well, folks, coming up on the BMW Halftime Report, top 5 shakeup with a busy day, a surprising day in college football. What a day it was in the state of Mississippi with Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and a big finish in Los Angeles. What a day in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
USC losing upset at home against Arizona State on a Hail Mary. This game here trending the other way towards the underdog, and not to mention what the Angels and the Dodgers in Los Angeles too.
Angels have been struggling, but good for the state of Mississippi. They were the center of the college football universe this week, and it worked out really, really well for both their teams today.
See what they do with this kickoff. Ishmael Adams back deep, and they squib it. It's not Adams, which is good news for the Utes. That was Mossy Johnson. And that's the end of the first half of play. as Kyle Whittingham's team, who lost on a last-second touchdown pretty much last week at home against Washington State, bouncing back here this week in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Let's go downstairs to Jessica.
Well, Coach, you guys struggled offensively with Travis Wilson early on at quarterback. What has Thompson done to infuse this offense?
Well, he's given us a little spark. He's done a nice job extending some plays with his running ability. He's thrown the ball well. And, you know, he's done a nice job. What can I say? We scored on defense early, which was a huge play for us. Punting game's strong, flipping the field position. But we got to become more consistent on offense as we were towards the end of the first half.
Well, you guys have also sacked Brett Hundley 5 times. How has your defense been able to impact such a dynamic player?
Well, that's a good stat. The bad stat is they run it right up our throat, you know, for that one drive. And so we got to be stiffer on the run defense. Pass rush is fine. Run defense has got to improve.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks.
Gotta love coaches, huh? Say, hey, you got 5 sacks. Says, yeah, but they're running it right up our guts.
Yeah.
17-7 at the half. It's been mostly Utah here in the first half as we head to the studio for the BMW halftime report. Guys, Pasadena, an upset brewing here with Utah leading ranked UCLA, number 8 in the country, 17-7 on what has been an absolutely topsy-turvy day in college football.
Should not be surprised that there's a possible upset tonight after everything we've seen today with, what, 4 of the top 6 teams going down. Wow.
And just across town a little bit earlier tonight, USC upset at home against Arizona State. Bruins got caught napping on an onside kick earlier. This is Adams getting a chance to return one. He found an alley. Adams brought down, but there's a flag down on the play.
Back at the 18-yard line. Coming back.
But that's the kind of lethal kick returning that he can give you.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 12. Pass the distance to the goal. First down, UCLA.
It not only takes away a great return, but it's going to put UCLA inside their own 10-yard line. And Adams takes things out. That's right over there. You just missed it back on the 18-yard line where the hold by UCLA occurred, but this is going to back them up.
Remember, it was in the third quarter of that game a little over a week ago down at Arizona State that he really stole the momentum of the game in UCLA's favor.
It was
with
ridiculous.
A kickoff return.
He had a crazy night. He had a pick 6 and a kickoff return for a touchdown, a kick 6.
Instead, UCLA backed up to the 9. They're going to run it with Jordan James. There are certain variables and metrics that Coach Mora uses to determine how successful, Rod. What are they?
He's totally into analytics, and this is what he has for offensive efficiency, that if they are under 12% in terms of bad plays, then they should win. Right now, they're at 20%.
Which means their chance for success would be low right now. Jordan James with a pretty good run. How much stock do you put in stuff like that, and outliers?
I think there's something to this, you know. You look at the bad plays, sacks, penalties, turnovers, and you use that in comparison to your total plays, and it tells you how efficient you're being, and you can tell this tells the story of the game.
This is Jordan James again. Tripped up as he tried to bounce it outside. Brought down to the 32. 7-yard gain on the play.
The one thing UCLA did well in the first half, principally on one drive, was run the ball right at Utah. They didn't throw it well. They didn't throw it often. They didn't protect Hundley, but they did run it well.
Utah defense came into the game averaging almost 5 sacks per game. This is James. Picked up 3, and that looks like it's enough for the first down right at the 35-yard line. Jared Norris with the tackle. Not wasting any time up at the line of scrimmage.
Nope. They like to go fast. It works for their rhythm.
Hundley completes it to the backfield. Yesse got those shoulders north-south and made something out of it. Gained about 6.
see the safeties for Utah playing back, 2 safeties back. That's why UCLA runs that defense.
And that was Jordan James again. Rod, you talked about playing the game in a phone booth, that being a plus for Utah. UCLA attacking them between the tackles on a couple of plays here.
Well, it's because the safeties are not involved in the run game, so they like their blocking numbers and they're trying to run at them. They have not had any success throwing it outside. The screen passes, we haven't seen any of that. That's really UCLA's game, and Utah's taken that away.
3rd and 3. Hundley sacked again. 4th down, and they'll have to punt. Hunter Dimmick with the sack. That's the 6th of the night for the Utes. 3.5 for him on the season.
That one's on Hundley. This is a 3-step, get the ball out. He holds it, and he's got to get rid of it. A 3-step timing pattern like that, ball's got to be released, or you got to take it and run away.
Jalen Clay back at his own 20, a dangerous punt returner. Has 3 returned already on the season, makes the fair catch at the 27-yard line, so nothing on the return that time. The Utes with the football when we come back, leading by 10 on a crazy Saturday. Utah with the ball and a 10-point lead. Jessica Mendoza, what did Coach Jim Mora have to say at halftime to you?
Well, basically, Mark, UCLA needs to contain Thompson. He did reiterate to his team at half. He's made one big play. It's the containment that we need to focus on. And straight up on offense, he said we need to get more protection for Hundley. He's a dynamic player. He cannot be the dynamic player he is without that protection.
All right, Jessica, Kendall Thompson became the starting quarterback. After the 2nd series, this is Kalen Clay. And Clay with a 1st down run. How tough is it for UCLA to change from game planning for him to Thompson?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because that is not a quarterback design running guy. There's not the zone read compartment of it. This is an entirely different offense with Thompson in there. He's an X factor. He runs the ball.
1st down and 10. Thompson trying to escape and sacked back at the 35-yard line by Jaleel Wadu.
Yeah, and he needed to be careful there. You notice he celebrated with a teammate. When you celebrate with your team, you don't get flagged. As we take a look at the quarterback comparison, only 3 drives for Wilson, and they were all 3 and outs. And then you see what Thompson's done. He's put 10 points on the board, the other 7 with a pick 6.
2nd and 17. They fake the fly sweep, and Thompson keeps it himself down to the 43-yard line. You may recognize the surname vis-a-vis college football. Kendall Thompson is the son of Charles Thompson, who played collegiately at Oklahoma, was a star quarterback there.
Great one.
Yep.
Fantastic quarterback at OU.
Thompson was a 3-star recruit out of high school. They're 4 of 10 on 3rd down. Pass may have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. It's incomplete. And 4th down coming up. Intended for Drez Anderson. That was his first miss. He was 8 of 8 before that incompletion.
So much riding on this game tonight for UCLA. The possibility of Hundley being in the Heisman race. Possibility of UCLA jumping into contention for the playoff with the Final Four.
There's the rugby-style kick. Very unorthodox looking, but the results, boy, you can't argue with them tonight. They've kept it away from Ishmael Adams on the 57-yard punt. Great emotion, great celebration.
ESPN College Football Finale is brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Outback, no rules, just right. And Buick, 5 expectation-shattering models. Another reason to experience the new Buick.
Well, Kings beat the Rangers to win the Stanley Cup this year. Angels clinch the AL West. And Dodgers clinch the NL West. But, well, the script has been flipped a little bit here this weekend in Los Angeles with respect to the Dodgers and the Angels anyway. 10:29 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Hunley hands it off to Jordan James off the right side, and I talked about the difficulties. There's a lot of L in LA, Rod. Look at that.
Angels in trouble. Dodgers down 1 and tied right now. Trojans blew it on a Hail Mary, and UCLA in trouble. But at least it was about 95 and sunny today, right?
Yes. That part of it was good. Here's James again. Stopped on a dime, made a great move, and picked up the first down for the Bruins. The USC losing earlier tonight across town on a Hail Mary. 15-yard gain that time by Jordan James.
And they've got a little rhythm in the rushing attack, so don't assume UCLA can't get back in this.
James again into the boundary, but nowhere to go this time. Stopped up by Jared Norris from his linebacker spot.
He's a hard-nosed guy. He's leading the team with 6 tackles for losses. Just a tough, smart football player.
The Utah defense that came in here after giving up 2 touchdowns on 4th downs against Washington State last week and playing inspired football right now. And getting all up in Hunley, who escapes that time and runs for the first down. That's why he's special. Nate Orchard should have had the sack and the pressure right there.
Orchard's trying to take down a 230, 35-pound man who's got a very strong lower body.
Instead, it's a UCLA first down at the 47. Jordan James, and I heard Desmond Howard today on Game Day say something interesting through the lens of a Heisman Trophy winner, and Hunley is a prospect. Said each guy has to have that Heisman moment where he overcomes adversity. Mariota really didn't on Thursday night. We'll see if Hunley does it here. Right?
Well, yeah, bringing your team back from a 10-point deficit in the second half and being a big part of it would probably fit the bill with a highlight play in there.
This is Nate Starks getting his first touch of the ball game, and he's going to lose about a yard.
You know, you mentioned earlier, why would Hunley come back this season? You know, and this year he's rated behind Marcus Mariota and also behind Jameis Winston as the top quarterbacks coming out. And Todd McShay has, in Scouts Inc., they've got him pegged as a late first round, second round guy. And most coaches agree with that.
Second down and 11. Has great ability to rebound and deal with adversity. Made a nice move. And close to another first down. It'll be 3rd and about 1 to go. But what about him coming back for his, well, what is thought to be his last year?
Well, he had to get better playing in the pocket, throwing and winning from the pocket. We know he can run. The NFL knows that. They respect that. But that's not what they want their quarterbacks to do. So this year was a year of focusing on being good in the pocket.
3rd and 1. They're going to hand it off and pick up the first down. Nate Starks doing the job, getting 8 yards on the carry.
Scott Quesenberry, one of the guards up there, having a tremendous drive, doing a great job blocking up front.
Run it again, and they are going turbo speed. Starks that time brought down after a gain of about 1.
Yeah, that's Andre Godfrey, who came in for Tevin Carter, who had the pick 6. Carter got a little banged up and has not been back in the ball game, but Godfrey is a true freshman playing well.
They've run the ball 9 times on this drive. 2nd and 10. Miles Jack, the starting linebacker, in the backfield now. They use him as a decoy. Play action. Taking a shot up top. And it's intercepted by Justin Thomas. Might have went off the knee of Miles Jack.
Yeah, he was out there. I think he kicked it up in the air, and Thomas, who's the nickelback, came up with it.
What a freak play this was.
Yeah, he's got that on his back, and he kicks it up
right into the arms of Justin Thomas.
What a play. Now, if this ball is thrown out there, Jack just runs underneath it for a touchdown.
And you know what? The UCLA offense, there's a flag down on the play. UCLA's offense has come back onto the field. We had a roughing the passer penalty against Utah, so UCLA retains possession. What a monumental swing there. And Nate Starks collared, and another flag on the play. A disbelieving head coach, Kyle Whittingham.
There is no foul for horse collar tackle. The inside the collar was not grabbed. Second down.
Well, let's take one more look at the roughing the passer penalty, which gave UCLA the ball again.
Yeah, that's late. That's very late. Not a big hit, but Ianu came in late. He had 2 steps. He could have pulled up.
Second down and 8. Huntley, the back shoulder fade. Touchdown Bruins! Lucien!
Single coverage. Lucien gets by his men. Now watch where the throw is. That's a back shoulder throw. They work on that all the time. Now I'm not sure that ball crossed the plane.
Did he hit the pylon?
Well, the ball's got to go beyond the pylon.
Lucien with the catch.
This play of completed pass and touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, I think
review.
his foot was in. He had control over it, but I don't think the ball broke the plane of the goal line, at least from that first look we had.
That angle not as conclusive, although it might not have, if you're guessing, which they're not allowed to do. You have to have indisputable video evidence.
Yeah, he looks like he's in front. He touches the pylon, but the ball is well within the field of play from that angle. I think he's actually out of bounds.
It's almost like he kicked his heel
Yeah,
up to hit the pylon.
back. Yeah, I mean, he's out of bounds, and his heel comes back and hits the pylon before he's really near the goal line. There's no question he made the catch.
And a great effort it was by Devin Lucien, the 6'1" junior from Encino.
And a pretty good throw.
Boy, what a wild swing of events from the roughing the passer that gave the ball back to UCLA, and supposed to replace your divots, right, Rod?
Any good golfer would.
And what a response by Hundley. He's connected on his last 6 passes in a row.
Well, again, that was only made possible by the roughing the passer, because there was a turnover. Utah had picked off the ball and inside the 5-yard line.
See Hundley still sporting that elbow brace on his left arm from being injured in that Texas game. Game in which Jerry Neuheisel came in and rallied them to victory. And really one of the great post-game scenes in college football this year.
One of the coolest things. Now, they've got to be taking a great amount of time here in order to figure out where to spot the ball. I mean, if they thought it was a touchdown, no need to continue to look at this. They need to figure out where the ball needs to be marked.
Only trying to rally his team down by 4 points. Depending on whether this touchdown stands or not, the ruling on the field is a touchdown. Here's the call.
After further review, the ruling is the receiver did catch the ball. However, he was short of the goal line. The ball will be spotted a half-yard from the goal line. First and goal.
And that's the right call.
First and goal from, they spotted just inside the 1.
And that's why it took them so long. They were trying to figure out exactly where did he go out of bounds. And now Miles Jack is back in the backfield. He's the power back. Power linebacker.
Hasn't got many touches this year. They hand it off to the fullback, and it's a touchdown, UCLA. Eddie Vanderdoes.
That's a 300-plus pound running back. You're talking about a defensive tackle that you've turned into a running back. To have him run inside the goal line, 6'3", 305. Try tackling that. And he's the young man who originally signed with Notre Dame and backed out of that commitment and was released by the NCAA to join UCLA. And they're looking at this to make sure he crossed the goal line, and he did.
Point good. UCLA's deficit down to just 3 points. That was the second career touchdown for Vanderdoes. Under 6 minutes to go in the third quarter.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Hey, tomorrow ESPN brings you Championship Drive. Who's in? Our analysts debate the best teams in the country and who should be in the college football playoff. Championship Drive, Who's In? Presented by Chick-fil-A tomorrow at 8:30 on ESPN. And watch ESPN. I want your 4 right now.
Hey.
I want your 4, bro.
You'll get
I want your 4.
Tomorrow night, that's going to be a riot.
Yes.
Nobody's 4 is going to look. I'm confused.
And no kick return here opportunity for Clay as we take a look at my partner's 4.
Oh, no, that was before the day, before the weekend. That was before we got started. There's only one of those still there. Now, who can I add in? I know I can put Auburn in, right? I can put Auburn in.
Beat LSU today.
I'm thinking, I don't know.
I want to know who's on that fringe, who's coming into the next 2 spots.
Mississippi State is being considered. Ole Miss is being considered. Notre Dame's being considered. Michigan State is still in the hunt.
UCLA has a chance to help themselves here.
They got to come back and win that.
Kendall Thompson has other thoughts in mind. Scrambling. He better get down, and he does, just shy of the 30-yard line. 5-yard gain on the play.
You know, it's a good thing it's so early for the playoff discussion, because if we had to pick 4 today,
right,
based on what's happened so far, I'm not sure you could do it without mass arguments.
Certainly chaotic with as many top teams losing that lost today.
Yeah, we need more intel.
2nd and 5. Utah trying to pull off the upset here. And a gaping hole up the middle for Devontae Booker. Out near midfield at the 45-yard line. Picks up 15.
Yeah, really nice job here. Watch him pull the guard from the right side onto the left. Get a little block from their tight end in there. And then a big run by Booker.
Looked like they wanted to run a reverse, but Booker brought down on the play.
They did, but Marcos Rios, number 9, was also in there, and he kind of blew up the reverse part of it.
It's going to be a loss of 2 on the play. 2nd and 13. Utah 0-1 in conference play so far. They lost last week at home against Washington State.
You know, deep passes to the sideline are safe passes for Thompson. He's already completed one of those.
Hand it off to Clay. Dylan Clay brought down after a gain of about 2 by Eric Kendricks. And Clay, a guy that took the long route to make it to Utah, originally signed with Cal back in 2010, redshirted 2011 with a meniscus injury, left for San Antonio College, played a couple of years there as a leading wide receiver, and finally, after completing his academic side of the equation, made it to Utah and has had a huge impact. But who's going to be the man on 3rd and 10 for the Utes? Downfield, incomplete, intended for Anderson, and a flag thrown as Fabian Morrow was there defending.
Well, that's the safe pass we were talking about. You get single coverage.
Pass interference. Defense number 10. A 15-yard penalty is an automatic first down.
Now, to me, the question is, did Morrow get his head around? Contact early, but he never got his head around to find the ball. That's the problem. If he turns his head and finds the ball, that's a clean play. But he doesn't get his head around and make an attempt on the ball.
From the 40. Booker skips through the hole and powers forward. And another nice gain of 6 yards on the play for the Utes.
Good block in the backfield there by Wesley Tonga, number 80, one of the tight ends that opened up that running lane on the right side. Both tight ends have done a good job for Utah this evening.
2nd and 4. Wait, got a nice block on the edge. McClellan runs it and picks up a first down for the Utes. Picks up 6. Looks like they're really putting Thompson in positions to be successful when they throw.
Safe passes, screen passes, throws to the outside, and then letting him do his thing athletically, run the football.
9 of 10 passing for 90 yards. Took over after the 3rd series. Booker collared and brought down for a loss of 1 on the play by Kenny Clark.
That's clean. Didn't get the face mask.
2nd down from just inside the 30.
You have to be careful of Anderson down here.
Great spin move. Thompson spun on a dime and didn't leave any change for UCLA's defense.
Athleticism. This is the change. This is not what they had at quarterback. Wilson could not make plays like that, and this expanded their offense.
Boy, Eric Kendricks is still looking for it.
Single coverage on Anderson down here. That is something Thompson will notice.
3rd and 1. Anderson already with a touchdown catch, but they're going to run it. Oh boy, Devontae Booker made lemonade out of lemons on that one, picking up the first down.
You're not kidding. There was nothing there. Nothing. He stopped right there, spins out of a tackle, and picks up a key first down.
They go right back to him, but a flag thrown before the play. They whistle it dead. That's going to be a motion penalty.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's against J.J. Dielman. But back to Booker, you know, you saw in that last run, that's the reason why he has supplanted Bubba Poole as the starter from a season ago.
You know, Jonesy, single coverage on Anderson is still a concern.
Down at the bottom of your screen on 1st and 15. Booker in motion, and Thompson wants to call timeout with the play clock down to 2. The understudy has really come in the shadows of Hollywood and playing a starring role tonight. Aerial coverage tonight provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Out of the timeout, 1st and 15. Thompson fires complete to Clay. And Clay gets back a bunch of those yards and makes it down to the 14-yard line. 2nd down coming up after a gain of 6.
These long drives by Utah are also helping their defense, which was winded last week.
9 runs, 2 passes. Booker bouncing it outside, and Booker about a yard short of the first down. 3rd and 1, Rod, coming up.
Exactly the kind of game Utah wanted. A physical, smash mouth, eliminate the speed and athleticism of UCLA's defense. Make them play you straight up inside, and they've got a 3rd and short. Exactly what they wanted.
Booker again, got the first down. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Utes. Book it. What an answer by Utah.
He just ran through tackles. Ran right through him. That's that physical style of play after the great blocking up front. Again, this was the blueprint for Utah.
This offense has been reinvigorated under Kendall Thompson. And UCLA stunned right now. Once again, down by 10 with a little over 15 minutes to go on Upset Saturday. Hey, Monday night, Russell Wilson in Seattle taking on Washington. And Kirk Cousins, Monday Night Football at 8:15 p.m. on ESPN and also on Watch ESPN.
How about Russell Wilson weighing in on the domestic violence issue the other day? He and some others starting to speak up on that. It's really good to see.
Yeah, great initiative. Long overdue. 10-point lead for the Utes, and what an answer to the touchdown that the Bruins had scored previously. They kick it away from Ishmael Adams. It comes down at the 25. Jaylen Brown. And sacks, a big prevailing storyline tonight.
Haven't heard a lot from Hundley through the air because he's been on his back an awful lot. 6 sacks. Pocket has collapsed. He hasn't had time. Sometimes he's held the ball a little bit too long. And this is what Utah planned to do. They wanted to build a fence, keep him inside, not let him run, and they've knocked him around. We're talking about a great quarterback who's been sacked more than any other quarterback in the last 3 years of college football.
That's a stunning number. Handed off to Jordan James. And James stopped up at the line of scrimmage, and now a smattering, a chorus of boos showering down here at the Rose Bowl on UCLA's sideline.
This is not the show they came to see. They came to the Hundley show, and there's not been much of a show.
Well, they're seeing the Kendall Thompson act instead. Jim Mora had a different script too. Back with the fourth period after this.
Home of the new college football playoff.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Look at our cogent points of the night so far, our game summary, as Utah leads by 10 points entering the fourth quarter of play. The question that begs right now, though, is can they seal the deal? Remember last week at home against Washington State, they were on the wrong end of a comeback victory by Washington State. Hundley's pass incomplete, intended for Jordan Payton. Mark Jones, Rod Gilmore, we saw Hundley get some semblance of rhythm on that last scoring drive. How do they keep that going here?
Well, it hasn't really been so much about Hundley as the offensive line and the rushing attack. He's been kind of the afterthought in their getting back in this ball game, and at some point he's going to have to make plays, but they haven't been able to protect him. That's the big issue for UCLA. And the boos that we heard out here, the fans want to see Hundley do his thing. Hasn't happened.
Right. What about the performance of the Utah defense tonight? We've talked so much about offense and Hundley and the quarterbacking situation with the Utes, but this Ute defense, I mean, they've done a nice job.
It's been the perfect game plan. They've executed it. They wanted to be physical. They wanted to dominate inside and put pressure on Hundley and knock him around. They've done that. UCLA, on the other hand, wanted to play on the outside, near the sideline. They wanted to use their speed and athleticism, screen passes, reverses, jet sweeps. They haven't been able to do that because of the pressure up front by Utah's front seven.
Val Whittingham said that his team has a lot of great leadership voices on defense. They responded well after the loss to Washington State with a great week of practice so far, paying off. 3rd and 10 for UCLA. Play action by Hundley. Nowhere to go. Sacked back to the 20-yard line. Again, this time Orchard didn't let him get away. The 7th sack of the night for the Utes.
Well, the problem was locking on to Payton. He's looking to his left where Payton is. Watch his eyes. He wants Payton, and he's staring him down and doesn't come off for anybody else. When he comes off, it's a little too late. He doesn't see anyone, and he takes the sack. Got to get rid of that one.
Bengal punting to the dangerous Kalen Clay, who has 3 punt returns for touchdowns this year. Clay almost got to the edge. And makes it all the way out to the 43-yard line. 46 yards on the punt, 9 on the return. Utah trying to seal the deal. And welcome back, everyone. And folks, remember, get your NFL Sunday started on ESPN 10 a.m. Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by Snickers. Chris Berman and the crew with all the things you need to know before kickoff, and then catch our experts as they provide the latest news and predict the top fantasy performers on Fantasy Football Now, presented by Papa John's at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. Utah with the ball at the 43-yard line, 1st down and 10. Thompson hands it off to Booker. Hand walk, staying on his feet. It'll be 2nd and 10. Let's go back to that last series for the Bruins. What went wrong here?
Well, Hundley has targeted Payton on almost half his throws, 6 of 14. When that happens, you get double coverage. You get bracketed like that. He's going to have to go elsewhere and start going through his progression like he worked on in pregame. If you don't have your first guy, look to your second. Your second's not there, go to your third. Not there, get rid of it. He was working on that pregame. Didn't get that last play. He's got to do that if UCLA is going to get back in this thing.
Down by 10 points. Thompson wide open, but dropped by Kalen Clay through his hands. Bringing back memories of the 6 drops they had a week ago, Rod.
Yeah, and that was a big one, because if you make this catch, if you're Clay, you get a 1st down, and then you get to shorten the game more. You have a 2-possession lead. Every minute you take off the clock puts more pressure on UCLA. And the crowd realizes it, and that's why they're focused on this big 3rd down for UCLA.
That was a big drop. Thompson, 10 of 12 passing tonight for 95 yards. There's what they've done on 3rd down. Takes off. Stays on his feet and goes down short of the 1st down. His hat comes off. He'll come off the field, but it's 4th down anyway. Good effort by Thompson, brought down by McCarthy.
Number 1 of the offense. He must leave the game for 1 play.
That's actually a hit at the helmet. And typically what you hear from officials, and I talk to officials before every game, they tell me, look, if the quarterback is sliding, just leave him alone. Don't try and tackle him. Leave him alone, because if you tackle him and you hit his head, even accidentally, they will flag you.
Right.
That wasn't flagged.
4th down. Hackett has done a great job punting tonight. Adams all the way back at the 5-yard line. They have effectively taken him out of the game tonight because of that guy, number 33, maybe up for an MVP or game ball.
ESPN College Football Finale is brought to you by Synchrony Financial, banking, loyalty analytics. Engage with us, and the Lexus GX. Dare to be spontaneous.
Well, 4 teams have already lost this week, all in the top 6. 5, they've never lost in the same week.
You're talking maybe history tonight?
Well, UCLA's got a long way to go to change things here, down by 10 points. In the 4th quarter, they've got possession, 1st and 10. Paul Perkins in the backfield beside the Heisman candidate, Brett Huntley. A great stop after a gain of 1 by Nate Orchard, whose name we're starting to call a little bit more.
Yeah, fine player, making some good plays. He was their leading sacker coming in to this ball game. He's a leader up front. They move him around. You know, Hundley has been, this is the 5th time in his career he's had 6 or more sacks in a game. The first 4 games, losses.
2nd and 9. Given a little bit of time to throw. Has a man wide open down the sideline. Fuller could go. Touchdown, Bruins.
This is a wheel route. Fuller just comes out around and goes deep after they all focus on Peyton. And that is a career-long pass and maybe a Heisman kind of moment for Hundley.
Just the type of play that defines the winning Heisman candidate. As Hundley connects on a career-long pass, 93 yards. And one bolt. It's down to a 3-point deficit for the Bruins. Well, you call it a wheel route, Rod. He was rolling on some big wheels down the sidelines. Devin Fuller. And the Bruins are right back in it. A look from the Goodyear blimp down on the Rose Bowl. 3-point lead now for Utah as they'll get the kickoff here from the Bruins after that 93-yard scoring play. And a great pass from Hundley to Fuller. Career long for Fuller. The Bruins have never led. Let's take one more look at the touchdown pass and what was the key and what happened here.
Really smart play by UCLA. We talked about Peyton and how he gets all the attention. Everybody focuses on him. Watch Fuller run this route and watch how everybody else keeps looking at Peyton. He's the guy that Hundley's been looking at. They all focus on him. Fuller runs the wheel route. Every Utah defender comes out of their zone. That was a 3-deep coverage. They were so focused on Peyton, they didn't notice anybody else. Smart play by UCLA to make them pay for focusing on Jordan Payton.
The Rose Bowl's alive. 1st and 10, Utah. Booker with a nice straight arm and out of bounds. Out at about the 34, picked up 9 on the play. Booker coming off a career week last week. 24 rushes for 178 yards against Washington State and a touchdown as well.
They were up 21-0 on the Cougars and gave it all back. They were up 10 on UCLA going into the 4th quarter, and they've given 7 of that back.
Tonight, Booker has already gone over 100. 24 rushes, 111 yards. Gets another opportunity here and picks up the 1st down. Let me ask you this, Rod. Moving forward, does Kendall Thompson and his skill set give you anything more in terms of being able to close the game out than compared to Travis Wilson?
Yeah, I think so, because now you have another threat of being able to run outside and also to move the pocket, move him. He's not stationary. You can't throw so well over the middle, but you can throw to the side and down the field.
Wilson started the game, played the first 3 series, then gave way to Kendall Thompson. Nice move by Thompson. Stopped up after a gain of about 4. Kenny Young, the first one to get there. A couple guys came seemingly late, but no flag on the play.
He's got to protect the football. He's carrying it a little bit low when he runs for it. And UCLA will be looking to strip that so he doesn't carry it high and tight.
2nd and 7. Booker with nowhere to go. Lost a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 8. And once again, a big decision coming up offensively, and Kendall Thompson pulling the trigger.
Well, he's not a drop-back quarterback, so if you're UCLA, you're thinking in terms of him sprinting out, rolling out, or draw play.
They move the pocket. Fires, incomplete, dropped on the play by Kenneth Scott. That's the 2nd one that he's had dropped on him in the last couple of possessions.
I didn't like that play. They had too many guys in the same area, too many receivers close together to create too much havoc. You brought too many defenders over there, and I think it was a little harder for some of the guys, including Scott, to see it cleanly. A lot of defenders in front of that throw.
You giving Scott a pass on that drop then?
No, he's got to come up with that. He's a good receiver. That got him on a little late. He's got to make that catch, though. He's good enough to make that catch.
Hackett rolling to his right again. Ishmael Adams will get a chance to return it to the 20. And stuck immediately, nowhere to go. Great punt return coverage by Dominique Hatfield on that 42-yard punt. Bruins looking for a little more Hundley magic on this series when we come back. Well, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup heads the way of the contender round now, with Brad Keselowski winning at Chicago, Joey Logano at New Hampshire, and Jeff Gordon at Dover. But the points reset and we start fresh in the contender round. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Kansas tomorrow at 1 on ESPN, also on Watch ESPN, presented by Dodge. And another sack by Hundley, on Hundley, by Nate Orchard, the 8th of the night.
Well, we told you about the number of sacks and what that tends to portend for UCLA, but they also struggle the week before playing Oregon. They've lost their last 4 games the week before playing Oregon.
For the last 3 years, Coach Moore has been at the helm, and remember they have Oregon coming up next week. UCLA does. Hundley sacked again, all the way back at the 7 now, the 9th of the night for Utah. Ianu making the sack that time.
And it's been everybody up front, Jones. It's not one guy that's wreaking the havoc. It's come from inside, it's come from outside, but they've never allowed him to have a lane. And they've kept him in the pocket, and you know, some of this is on him and not having the pocket presence to see that there's nothing there and getting rid of the ball.
3rd and 22. And they bring a blitz again. They get to him again. Is it a safety? No, they're going to spot it just outside the end zone. Andre Godfrey came and was the first one there for Utah. Boy, the defense really responding here.
Yeah, watch Hundley duck his eyes. As soon as he sees the pressure, he ducks his eyes. And then there's nothing he can do. He can't throw it away, can't get rid of it. He's looking at the rush. He's not looking down the field. He's under duress now. Don't get me wrong. It's not all his fault, but got to find a way.
Play with a chance on the punt return to the 47. Right up the middle of the field, all the way down to the 34. And Utah in great field position after the Bruin offense implodes on the last sequence.
You know, 10 sacks tonight. The problem is, not just tonight, he's been sacked a lot in his career. And at some point, you'd figure UCLA would find a way to protect him more or to have him get rid of the ball sooner. But for this young man to have more sacks in the last 3 years than any other quarterback in the FBS, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me.
It doesn't. Got a sophomore, a couple of sophomores, 3 sophomores up front, a junior and a senior. But right now it's about the Utah offense trying to put a lid on this one tonight. Devontae Booker once again, another plus 100-yard rushing game. Remember last week they had a big lead against Washington State at home and were the victims of a comeback victory.
Well, they should be shortening the game now, taking longer to get to the line of scrimmage. You don't want to slow things completely, but you don't want to rush. You want to shorten the game and put more pressure on. If they get a scoring drive, a touchdown drive, it puts a lot of pressure on UCLA.
Thompson at quarterback. Play clock at 5. Thompson a little loose with the ball and brought down at the 34. They're on the fringes of field goal range right now. And for more on Hundley, let's go down to Jessica.
Well, guys, Hundley throughout the entire game has handled the sacks pretty well on the sideline, but after that last drive, he came in with some choice words and is obviously showing his frustration. A very different drive for him. They're trying to say, for him to stay positive, but right now, guys, it's definitely looking negative over here on the sideline.
You can sense his frustration. 3rd and 9 coming up.
Yeah, well, he's going to have another opportunity, but right now it's on his UCLA defense.
Thompson making something out of nothing. Boy, did he ever. Leaping across the 30. Let's see where they spot this. Kendall Thompson It's going to be 4th down. He's still a couple of yards short, but what a great dauntless effort that time by the junior quarterback. This is his moment. He transferred from Oklahoma, saw the writing on the wall with Trevor Knight there at quarterback, and this might be the moment of his career. Graduated, transferred, able to play immediately, but right now it's on the toe of Andy Phillips coming from 45 yards out. Just inside that left upright, and it's good. And the Utes lead up to 6 points with 6:21 to go.
He was drilling them from 55 in pregame warmups, and this one would have been good from 55 as well. Had a lot of leg behind it. He's nailed 2 big ones tonight, but it is a 1-possession game. But Utah has a lot of confidence in their defense. That's why they never considered going for it there. Still, if you're Hundley, despite all the sacks, despite all the problems, you are 1 possession away from getting back in front.
Rod, they sacked him 4 of the last 6 plays. So I wonder, they're going to have to change or fix something on this series coming up. Ishmael Adams, of course, always a threat to take one back on a kickoff return, but they've done a great job tonight of keeping the football away from him. They punt it away from him, kick it away from him at the 22. Jayon Brown returns it. It'll be 1st down and 10. Kicking game, one of the big storylines today.
Yeah, you know, we talked about being sound in the kicking game. We had 2 great returners, and Adams was a guy that they wanted to eliminate. There was an onside kick that Utah recovered but didn't get any points out of. They had a couple of long field goals. They've been sound in the kicking game and not hurt themselves there.
Adams had a big return that was called back in the second half. Hundley finds Jordan Payton a little bit short of the 1st down marker, picks up about 9.
That's the guy he believes in, he's comfortable with, targets him an awful lot, and eventually you will see Utah roll more coverage that way and force Hundley to look elsewhere.
Handed off to Perkins. Got the 1st down and then some. Inside Ute territory at the 43. Can this Utah defense withstand this late game challenge?
That last series, that defense blitzed an awful lot. They started feeling like they had a bead on Hundley, and that Hundley's not comfortable, that he will take his eyes and not look down the field. Expect more pressure soon.
He's got time, and he steps up to run. Wisely falls at the 40-yard line, picks up 3 on the play. Hundley, by the way, when given time to throw, is connected on 8 of his last 9. 2nd and 7 coming up. Clock running. UCLA with 3 timeouts remaining. And a crazy Saturday in college football. BYU up next against UCF. Without Taysom Hill, their starting quarterback broke his leg last night in their loss against Utah State. Hundley downfield and just missing at the 10-yard line, intended for Massington.
He's looking elsewhere, and that's a good thing because Utah is really trying to make sure that they take away other things. You see his eyes. You see him come off of his first look and go back to the outside to Massington. A much better job than we saw earlier with him.
Much like the progression he was practicing pre-game. 3rd and 7. They thinking 4th down territory here?
Yeah, you're almost in no man's territory. You don't need the 1st down.
Utah blitzing. Hundley with time. Caught. Massington, touchdown. Bruins lead it.
protection. They finally picked up the blitz. They picked it up. There was time. They got the matchup they wanted against Rowe over there. And Massington beat him soundly for the touchdown. But the key was the protection for Hundley.
After all those sacks, they gave Hundley some time. And Washington with his second touchdown catch of the season. Perhaps a Heisman moment for Hundley.
You think he's excited? He's thrown 2 big touchdown passes here in the 4th quarter, and he ran that like it was a 100-meter sprint.
Well, our Jessica Mendoza said they were imploring him to stay positive on the sidelines after the previous drive when he was sacked 3 consecutive times. Well, some positive vibes after that one.
Well, he'd been knocked around an awful lot, but he hung in there. And Jim Moore told us yesterday the one thing he loves about him is his resiliency, his ability to move on to the next play. And he needed it there, and he came through with it.
This is UCLA's first lead of the ball game, and it comes with 4:50 to go. Let's see if Kalen Clay can do anything on this kickoff return for the Utes.
You know, they've kicked to him all night. They haven't been afraid.
No chance on that one. It'll come out to the 25-yard line, 1st down and 10. Well, Kendall Thompson took over from Travis Wilson after the 3rd series, and Rod, he's done a good job throwing the ball. What do you expect here on this drive?
I don't think they will change their offense right now. You got 4 minutes, 50 seconds to go, plenty of time. Your kicker has nailed a couple from beyond 40 yards. You just manage the game. You can run it. You can move him outside. You can let him throw short. There's no change to the offense right now. There's no sense of urgency because you have so much time.
2 timeouts remaining. Devontae Booker has run for over 100 yards tonight. 115. Thompson keeps it on the decide option. A nice gain of about 6 on the play. A manageable 2nd and 4.
And that's what we're talking about. You can run him outside. You can run inside. You can sprint him out. Let him throw the short passes. You can do those things. You only need field goal range, and you can bleed the clock.
Hands it off to Booker. A yawning hole over the right side of that offensive line. And Utah trying to exercise the Devils, trying to expunge memories of last week against Washington State, where they blew a couple of big leads. 13-yard gain on the play by Booker.
They're a little different offensively tonight. A little bit more variety of what they can do because of Thompson at quarterback. Booker running great inside. Thompson can run outside.
Kendall Thompson keeps it. Got a nice block. Stays in bounds and got drilled out of bounds. He took a hit and bounced back up, nodding his head and said, "You got to bring a little bit more than that." 18-yard gain for the junior quarterback.
Yeah, watch the end of it. He'll take this full shot. Looks like there was some helmet involved there. Yeah, there was a shoulder to the helmet, and UCLA is lucky that didn't get flagged. You know, it doesn't have to be helmet to helmet.
Right. Anything
above the neck, around the neck, whether it's a forearm, a shoulder, a helmet, you can be penalized for it.
Well, Thompson got up in a hurry, and that is Fabian Moreau, the 6-foot junior from Sunrise, Florida, Western High School in South Florida. Standout cornerback for UCLA coming off the field. And meanwhile, Utah, Rod, has moved the ball right now on the fringes of field goal range. You see where the green line is.
Yeah. And if you're UCLA, you want to push them back. You don't want to allow them in there So look for UCLA to bring a little bit of pressure to try to get a tackle for a loss. They don't want to give up another 5 yards, 4 yards, because that's within the range of Phillips.
They're running down the clock, and Phillips was sharing a nice moment with perhaps a little inspiration from one of his teammates there on the sidelines. Under 3 minutes to go. Thompson hands it off to Booker. Spins it outside and brought down after a gain of maybe 1. Kenny Young there to make the stop. Remember, Phillips has already made 2 long field goals tonight from 48 and 45 yards, and now UCLA is going to call a timeout.
Yeah, smart move. I like that call. If you're UCLA, you're thinking, look, if he can drill one from this far out, we want some time left on the clock to give Hundley an opportunity. Because had they not called a timeout, Utah would bleed this clock down, keep running it, and run the football, because they're close to where they feel pretty good about taking a shot. Right now would be about a 54, 53 yarder. They'd like to move that in about a good 5-7 yards to feel pretty comfortable with Phillips' range.
You don't want to take a sack around here or have a negative play. It's Booker keeping it between the tackles and down to the 32. Picked up 5. We're talking about a 49-yard field goal or a 50-yard field goal from here.
A lot of teams would not do this. A lot of teams would be thinking, look, get down there for the touchdown. But they have a lot of confidence in Phillips and his ability to nail kicks from a distance.
He has a career long of 51.
Right now, this would be about a 49-yarder, maybe a 50-yarder.
Is there too much time left to be thinking field goal? Is this playing it too conservatively if you're Utah to nitpick a little bit?
Yeah, we can nitpick with it, but part of it is you've got a backup quarterback who hasn't been in a lot of these situations. You don't want a sack. You don't want a turnover. You know that you at least have a shot at a field goal right now, and they don't want to give that up. They were hoping to run a lot of clock. You make a field goal now, Hundley's going to get the ball back.
Let's see what Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator for the Utes, has dialed up here on 3rd and 4.
I would expect Thompson to hang on to the ball, some sort of a quarterback run.
Booker sets beside him. Booker takes the handoff, gets the first down and then some. Booker down to the 17-yard line.
Wow.
And a pivotal, crucial 3rd down conversion on a gain of 15.
Another zone read play. You've got your quarterback making a good decision. Booker taking the ball to the right side, picking up the first down, and UCLA burns another timeout here.
Trying to save a little bit of clock, as you mentioned, for if they get the ball back potentially. I'll get your NFL Sunday started on ESPN, folks. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. presented by Snickers, and then Fantasy Football Now presented by Papa John's at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. Booker, meanwhile, you know, we've said his name a lot, Rod. He's got 149 yards on the ground going back-to-back, 178 last week.
Wow, and they've been tough yards. It's been inside, running up against the UCLA linebackers, who are particularly fast, but they're pounding them tonight.
That's that phone booth game you talked about, right?
It's exactly the way Utah wanted to play. Tough, physical, grinded out game, and see who would be left standing at the end.
UCLA doesn't have any timeouts remaining. 1st down and 10 for the Utes. Booker takes it again. Gained a couple of yards. Well within Andy Phillips' field goal range.
I would expect Utah to be very deliberate without any timeouts for UCLA. Run this clock down and be careful with the football. Now keep in mind, we talked about Thompson handling the football. When he runs with the football, he carries it low. He doesn't carry it up high and tight.
He has been a monument to poise since taking over at quarterback. It's Booker again. He makes it down to the 10-yard line. It will set up a 3rd down and about 3 to go on the 4-yard gain. They got a big 3rd down conversion last time.
Wow.
And Booker has to come out of the ball game now at an inopportune time.
Yeah, and think about this. Do you really want to put the ball in the hands of someone who hasn't been on the field the last couple of series?
Great point. Let's see who comes in for him. Booker with 156 yards rushing on 33 carries.
You know, you could burn a timeout if you want to, if you're Utah, and then get Booker back in the game. You can run this clock down as far as possible, call a timeout, and get Booker back in.
Is it worth a timeout at this point of the game?
I think so. I would want to have a guy that I'm really comfortable running the football, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, he was in the official's ear the entire time saying, here's the plan now.
Yeah, because the choice of bringing someone off the bench in this critical situation, you know, you got to go with who you trust right now.
And Devontae Booker has been the guy. He beat out Bubba Poole in a fiercely competitive situation for the starting job. And he has really done great today in terms of being able to carry a lot of the rush load. And right now, 3rd and 3. I mean, is it too obvious to ask, Rod? Is this his opportunity?
Yeah, you know, I got to believe if you're Utah, you're thinking Booker is your guy. You called the timeout for him to get him back on the field. You trust him. You let him carry the ball. You're within field goal range. You trust Phillips. So why would you do anything else right now? If you do something else and you lose the game, you're going to be sick.
Well, this is a situation that they were in last week at home against Washington State. And they ended up letting the game slip away. Trez Anderson with a touchdown catch already. Split to the top of your screen there. 3rd and 3. Thompson runs it into the middle of the field, dead center in front of those uprights. And that was the plan.
How about that? Didn't even want to risk a handoff or anything. We talked about it. They have so much confidence in Phillips. They were thinking field goal way back at the 30-35-yard line, a 40-plus field goal. They were comfortable with that.
And this will be about a 22-yard field goal for Andy Phillips, who's already connected tonight from 48, 45, and 22, and the clock running down.
It'll get down to about 36, 37 seconds before they burn their last timeout.
Phillips, not like the typical place kicker, sometimes like to be away from his teammates. He was chatting, and you see him there doing the same with his teammates right now. And what a win this would be for Utah. If they could knock it through and upset number 8 UCLA, as we have total havoc here on Separation Saturday.
Are you kidding me? If tonight ends with a Utah win, this day would be historic in terms of upsets on a particular weekend. Not to mention what it would do to the races in the Pac-12 and to what the good folks in Arizona would be thinking after their big win over Oregon.
From 30 yards out, Andy Phillips for the win. The snap is good, and Utah takes the lead. The Utes up by a pair with 34 seconds to go, and UCLA with no timeouts remaining. This game has defined Kendall Thompson. And Andy Phillips with the biggest kick of the year for the Utes.
Never a doubt when it left his foot. It was strong, it was true, almost straight down the middle.
Well, if there was ever a time for Ishmael Adams to get an opportunity at the very least to get his hands on the ball and take one back, this would be it. He's already done it once this year.
Unlikely that Utah will kick it to him.
That's been the pattern tonight.
They stayed away from him with good reason. So let's assume that they keep it away from him. If you're Hundley, when you bring your offense out, you're thinking about you need to get in position for about a 51, 52-yard field goal. That's the range, and you won't have much time. It'll be less than 30 seconds.
Squib it. At the 30-yard line, it's Jayon Brown again. And Hundley has thrown 2 touchdown passes in his last 4 attempts. He's had a hot hand, but he's working against the clock right now.
Let's see what Utah does defensively. A lot of teams go to a 3-man pass rush and drop 8. My view is you're better off bringing 4 to put pressure on the quarterback and force him to get rid of the ball sooner.
We got 4 up there now. Pass is complete to Jordan Payton. Right at the first down marker. They give him the first down. Stops the clock with 24 seconds to play.
You need about another 30 yards to have a shot.
Zamora has a couple of place kickers that he likes to use. They rush 4 again. Hundley steps up, delivers a strike. Jordan Payton trying to get out of bounds. And it stops the clock with 16 seconds to go. Dominic Hatfield making the tackle. Fairburn has a career-long field goal of 48.
So they need to get down to, wow, they still got a ways to go. I think Morris said yesterday he's comfortable at 51-52.
16 seconds to go. Hundley still alive. Brought down to the 43.
They got to hurry.
They got to get a playoff here.
Well, he's got to spike
have to spike it.
He doesn't have much time. He's got to spike it.
No timeouts remaining. And the clock still running.
Now the official is going to stop it because he dropped the ball.
Please reset to 8 seconds.
Yeah.
8 seconds.
Yeah, he's right. He dropped the ball, which cost UCLA several seconds.
And Hundley going to spike it, stops the clock with 7 seconds to go.
Now you have a decision to make. Do you think you can run a play and have any time left to try and kick a field goal, or do you take a shot? This would be about 58, 59, 60 yards. You can't make it. He's only comfortable at 51, 52. We saw him kicking it about 55 pregame.
I don't know if you have enough time to get a field goal unit on after a play.
Well, you got to run something to the sideline and get 5, 10 yards and get out and hopefully have 1 or 2 seconds.
Utah rushing 4.
Like that strategy.
No timeouts remaining for the Bruins. They go to the sideline. Complete. Stops the clock with 4 seconds to go. And it's on the fringes of field goal range for Kaimi Fairburn.
Yeah, it's just a little bit beyond his comfortable range, but we saw him in pregame activity nail one from about this distance, but from the other hash mark.
"55 yards out for the win. No good. The Utes with the upset. There's a flag down on the field, so hold on. Let's wait. Fairburn ended up on his back. Was he roughed? One more look at it.
pretty good acting there at the end. He sort of rolled into them. Or they may be flagging him for it.
Running into the kicker.
Yep.
Wow.
Defense, 18. 5-yard penalty. Result in a first down.
I don't know about that.
Huh.
Well, that'll give UCLA another shot at it.
They're going to move it in.
Yeah.
And what was a 55-yard attempt. It's a little bit easier, and that looked to be questionable.
Yeah, he kind of took the extra little step there and rolled into them. But this is going to be a 50-yarder. And he's had a warm-up kick now.
His career long is 48.
He's got enough leg.
Kayimi Fairburn with another opportunity here.
Well, he has enough leg from 50. It's a matter of accuracy.
Remember, running into the kicker, only a 5-yard penalty. Here it is for the win. One more time from 50 yards out. Fairburn, the snap down. Missed it. Utah wins, and it's over. Their first win in 6 tries in Los Angeles for Utah. And this missed by inches.
Well, he has plenty of leg. It was just off to the right.
He knew it. Pushed it off to the right. And for Jim Mora's team, who said they were going to stay in the moment and not look ahead to Oregon next week, well, they'll have to regroup. And for Kyle Whittingham, they exercised the demons of last week when they lost in the dying seconds of the game against Washington State. Drez Anderson happy for his teammates and his coach. And Utah improves to 4-1 on a zany, crazy Saturday.
The national rankings are a mess. The Pac-12 race is a mess.
And that's why we love college football. The final score, Utah wins it in the upset, 30-28. A busy day in college football, a crazy one. SportsCenter has it for you next. For Rock Gilmore and Jessica Mendoza, I'm Mark Jones. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is Hollywood. What'd you expect for an ending? Good night from Pasadena.